On behalf of Stella, and the staff of the museum, notably Dan Breen and all the other members of the staff, it's my great pleasure to welcome all of you and each of you to this important gathering here this evening. Now, a very particular welcome to our chief speaker, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Micheál Martin. We are very grateful to the Minister for taking time out on a Friday evening and being here to acknowledge the importance of this occasion. And a very warm, if not a very watery welcome to City Councilman of the District of Dachau, who also is, in my understanding, chairperson of the museum from which the paintings have come, and a very important man in the cultural context of that region. To welcome here as well, here at my left-hand side, Hansjörg Christmann. I hope I got that correct. We also have the German embassy very well represented here, and we're grateful for that. We have the First Secretary here representing the German ambassador, and he is Holger Osterrieder over there, who brought with him Jennifer Withoff, also from the German embassy. So we particularly want to welcome them, even if it's a wet and watery kind of welcome. And also we're very glad to have here, we're very glad to have Dr Elisabeth Boser, who is the artistic director of the museum in Dachau, the place in which the paintings that you will be launching later, Minister, have come here this evening. So a very warm welcome to all of you, but a particularly warm welcome to the Lord Mayor. The Lord Mayor of Cork, newly elected, Councillor Micheál, with the Lady Mayoress Catherine O'Connell. A particularly warm welcome to you both. We know that you have a really punishing schedule on this Friday evening, and yet you took time out. So important did you view what's happening here this evening, and the Fleischmann Centenary program. And also the work that's happening here by Stella and her team around you in this building. So important did you deal with that you came to be with us here this evening. And I just want to tell you on behalf of everybody. But what I just want to say about this the two exhibitions, particularly the exhibition of paintings from Dachau that will be launched here this evening. I just want to say about those paintings that when a working party was put in place to design a proper suite of centenary celebrations to honour the centenary of the birth of Professor Aloys Fleischmann. When that happened, a very strong and compelling case was made that, Cork or Ireland wouldn't fully grasp the cultural landscape that animated the Fleischmann family over 3 generations, or 4 generations sounding, to do what they did for this city and this country. That we couldn't really sort of grasp what it was that animated them if we didn't seek to come to terms with the work of the Dachau Colony of Artists. This colony of artists that was a very important feature of Dachau from 1880 until 1920. And it really was felt that until we could kind of feel the ethos that, that inspired that group of artists, that unless we did that properly, we wouldn't somehow understand why it is that the Fleischmanns did what they did in the manner in which they did. And then we were further given to understand, and we fully appreciate it now, that if we really wanted to get a proper insight into the work of this colony of artists, that the best way of doing that was to have this collection of paintings, which are currently housed under the supervision of Dr. Boser over there in the museum in Dachau, that we would bring them here to Cork, and we would view them here. And they're here in Cork now, and this is the launch of that is what's happened here this evening. But in that context, I do want to say this. As the programme for the year celebration began to emerge, it also began to emerge that somehow or other it would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to get these paintings from Dachau to Cork. And there were a number of people who were deeply disappointed about that, and it seemed as if that ambition would not be realised. And then Stella here came up to the plate, or whatever it is that they say, you tell me what that is now. She stepped up to the plate and she said, we'll do that in the museum, we'll do that. And we'll do it out of our own resources, and we'll make it happen. And it's because of that generous gesture that was made to happen that we're all here this evening. And that I am now calling upon. I'm calling upon City Council, Councilman for the region of Dachau and chairperson of the museum, or so I understand. I'm now calling upon him to be our first speaker here this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, my English isn't the best. I've learned it a very long time ago in school, but I tried. Lord Mayor, Councillor Micheál O'Connell, dear Minister for Foreign Affairs, Máirín, lieber Holger Ostenrieder, Mrs. Wilhoff from the German Embassy, Director of the Museum, Stella Cherry, Deputy Director Dan Breen, ladies and gentlemen. I am greatly honored as District Councillor of Dachau to speak to you here today at the Cork Public Museum at the opening of the double exhibition. I have been asked to convey to you very special greetings from my hometown of Dachau, in particular from our Lord Mayor Peter Bürgel, who was in Cork, who greatly regrets that he cannot be with you today. I have known Ireland for a long time and love visiting your beautiful island. That it was why I was delighted to hear about the exhibition from the director of Dachau's Art Gallery, Dr Elisabeth Boser. I immediately cancelled all my engagements in order to be with you today. I'm always astonished and find it truly remarkable how the arts manage to build bridges between countries and cultures, opening doors and creating friendships in the most uncomplicated manner as essential basis on which to develop acceptance for a united Europe. It's very necessary. This also applies to Aloys Fleischmann, whose love for his wife brought him to leave his home in Dachau to settle in Cork over 100 years ago in 1906. The exhibitions being opened today in the Public Museum are part of the great celebrations being organized to commemorate to the centenary of the birth of his son, Aloys Fleischmann. He is being celebrated not only here in Cork, but all over Ireland, with the events also in America, in England, and even in China, with a multitude of concerts, exhibitions, broadcasts and other events put in place by 113 cultural organizations throughout the 12 months of the year. These celebrations have been brought about above all by Aloys Fleischmann's granddaughters, Ruth Ann and May Fleischmann. One of the places they came to several times in the course of the preparations was Dachau. They have helped to arrange the events taking place in Dachau and have done so with the same commitment that they characterized their organizing arrangements here in Ireland. This year, in October, there will be a Fleischmann Week in Dachau. It will begin with the opening of two exhibitions, one on Aloys Fleischmann in our District Museum, and the other an exhibition of Irish paintings. It's very new in our art gallery. We are all greatly looking forward to seeing them. A series of musical events will follow. The Fleischmann Corps, with 270 members, will travel from Cork to sing with the Dachau Liedertafel Choir in several concerts. I would be delighted if you would visit our beautiful town for this very special occasion. It would give us a great pleasure to welcome you at the opening of the two exhibitions. In the exhibition of paintings to be opened today, you will see some of our finest and most representative pictures of Dachau. They will give you an impression of what my native place was like around 1900, the town that Aloys Fleischmann left in 1906. Allow me to tell you a little about this exhibition and the period in which the paintings were created. Dachau at that time was a small, placid market town not far from the great center of arts, the city of Munich. Once the landscape artists had left their studios and taken to painting in nature. They discovered this place with its impressive moor landscapes, and the own Artists Colony arose in Dachau in the middle of the 19th century, which became known all over Germany as the name Barbizon of Bavaria. Arthur Langhammer, Ludwig Dill, and Adolf Helzel were among the most significant landscape painters, but Lovis Corinth, Max Liebermann, and Emil Nolde also came to Dachau to paint. At the height of the fame of Dachau's Artist Colony, the citizens of the town noted ironically that there were often more painters in the place than townspeople. And it was noted with amusement that the painters often had to queue up to get hold of the subject of their pictures, for example, to borrow a comb. The citizens of Dachau produced innumerable caricatures and jokes on the subject of the artists, and in particular about the women painters, who now living outside the city of Munich had emancipated themselves from the convention. They were desperately called Malweiber, or paint women. The renowned architect and artist Bruno Paul, for instance, in a most unflattering caricature, has a painting teacher say to one of his lady students, "You see, miss, there are two kinds of women painters. One lot just want to get married, and the other have no talent either." The years of the Artist Colony have had a significant impact on Dachau. Already in 1905, a museum was established in Dachau Palace, our Schloss. Exhibition, the folk art of the region. 3 years later, in 1908, a gallery was founded to house a collection of landscape paintings from the Artists Colony. The museum were founded by Dachau's citizens and artists who had settled in the town. But this belongs to the past. Today, the name of Dachau carries associations with a very different historical events. In 1933, the National Socialists constructed the first German concentration camp in Dachau. Political terrorism and the atrocities of the 12-year regime of National Socialism formed the image of Dachau, while that of the period of its cultural flowering around 1900 has faded. To this day, the world over, the name of Dachau is also synonym for those appealing crimes. The town is very conscious of its obligations in facing up to its history. Dachau has now acquired a reputation as a place of commemoration and reflection. It is also again esteemed for its rich cultural and artist legacy. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all those who worked so hard to make this exhibition of Dachau paintings possible. The City Council of Cork, with its artist officer Máirín, the members of the Fleischmann Centenary Committee and its chairwoman Dr Máirín, Quill, the director of the Cork Public Museum Stella Cherry, and her deputy Dan Breen. I wish you many visitors for the exhibition and success for all the other events of the Fleischmann year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention.
Herr Christmann, thank you very much for, we know a great deal more about the paintings now than we did 10 minutes ago. Thank you very much for that, and you have certainly endeared yourself to all of us here, not by your comments that you quoted, not your own, but comments that were quoted about somebody's regard for women artists. But we'll deal with that in another time, in another way.
And over a
but
drink.
just to say that here, that it's very good to see Peter Murray here, curator of the Crawford Gallery. Because Peter Murray has been collaborating with Elisabeth. And this exhibition here this evening upstairs, that's just part of an exchange between the city of Cork and the city of Dachau. And paintings as we speak. A batch of paintings agreed by Peter and also with Elisabeth. They will be put in display in Elisabeth's gallery in Dachau, and that will be officially opened on the 21st of October. And then, as Herr Christmann rightly said, the Fleischmann Choir will be singing in Dachau that week. So it's a real cultural exchange, Minister for Foreign Affairs, and I know you're really happy about that. But just to say, as we speak, that the Fleischmann Choir, Ruth Fleischmann sends her apologies. But we're very happy to have Maeve and Anne Fleischmann here, representing another generation of the Fleischmann family, for which we want to send a great deal of gratitude to the city of Dachau, who gave them all and sent them all to us here in Cork, and we benefited greatly from that migration, I can tell you. Now, Cork City has taken this exhibition very seriously. And when we cast about to get somebody fitting to officially launch the exhibition, we were unanimous on the name of one person. But we weren't at all optimistic. We were unanimous in getting the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Micheál Martin, to open this exhibition for us this evening. And I just want to say about Micheál Martin that, you know, we're also proud. He does represent us abroad with such grace and courtesy and intelligence. And that just makes us feel good about ourselves. He's also a patron of the working committee that was established to put in place the programme for this centenary year. But I'd just like to say, I've known Minister Martin since he was in political short pants. And I say this, and only this, that he has always, and at all times, put priority on art and culture, education and heritage. He has always done that for this city and this country. So for all of those reasons and many others, he certainly is the person most fitting to launch this exhibition of paintings from the Dachau colony and from Elisabeth's museum and gallery in Dachau. He's the person most fitting to do that on our behalf. So I have great pleasure in inviting Mr.
Lord Mayor of Cork, Councillor Micheál, and Lady Grace Catherine, Hansjörg, Christmann District Councillor, Dachau, Holger Nauderer for Secretary of the German Embassy, and Jennifer Withoff, who also from the German Embassy, Stella Cherry, Director of the Museum, and Dan Breen, and Dr Elisabeth Boser, while dús baile a fair weeks ago at the Máirín, something credit then in kind of touchpoint t-shirt, quick feel on shoulder with the fuel, or the Scorgoligus, a year of the Bacchania, at all, and Frank of class, it's my great privilege and pleasure to have been invited along this evening for the opening of two exhibitions, the landscape paintings from the Artists Colony of Dachau, and of course the three generations of Fleischmanns. And to say to Hansjörg in particular, thank you for a wonderful, eloquent speech, giving us an insight into the exhibition in relation to the paintings, and also opening a window to the culture of your city. I was struck by many of your comments, but particularly your comment about it being a place of commemoration and reflection, which I think, given my particular position as Minister for Foreign Affairs and working in a post-conflict situation in Northern Ireland, and only this week met with quite a large number of community groups in Northern Ireland who deal with commemoration, who reflect on post-conflict society and how to integrate. Very struck by those comments. And to suggest to you, that around the world we have many similarities and many similar themes that we have to deal with and grapple with. So I thank you for making the long journey here to be with us. We deeply appreciate the effort that you have made. Because as we know, the Fleischmann Centenary celebrations provide us with a very welcome opportunity to honour the contribution made to the arts and to Ireland by Professor Aloys Fleischmann, to renew the links between Cork and his native city of Dachau, and to celebrate the shared heritage of Ireland and Germany. Our earliest recorded links between the two countries go back to the 7th century, when Irish saints and scholars such as Killian and Coleman travelled to southern Germany, including parts of Bavaria where the Fleischmann family originated. Indeed, the University of Würzburg still has texts in Irish dating from that time. And about 4,000 destitute Lutherans from southern Germany were settled in Limerick and Tipperary at the beginning of the 18th century. And when Trinity College Dublin established a chair of German studies in 1776, it was the first of its kind in Britain or Ireland. Today, German studies are strong in Irish universities, including in University College Cork. This is hardly surprising, since Germany is our 4th largest export market and 2nd most important source of foreign direct investment. Perhaps one of the most significant events in our bilateral relationship happened exactly 20 years ago. Just months after the fall of the Berlin Wall, a special European summit was called to consider the implications of the reunification of Germany East and West. Ireland held the presidency of the European Community, as it was then, and we wanted to do everything we could to facilitate German reunification. The summit was held in Dublin, and it was agreed there that the reunification would take place under a European roof and that discussions on political union should be launched. In April last, I met my German colleague, Vice Chancellor and Foreign Minister Guido Westerwelle in Berlin to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this significant moment in our shared heritage. And Guido Westerwelle recalled that summit in Dublin, and he said it was a milestone in the reunification process, and said, and I quote, that Germany will not forget what Ireland did for reunification. But no account of our common heritage would be complete without an acknowledgement of the enduring legacy left by the professor, composer, musicologist, and campaigner Aloys Fleischmann. The numerous exhibitions and publications marking the Fleischmann Centenary make it possible to document in a lasting manner the significant contribution made by his family to the cultural life of the city and indeed of the country. And we salute the leadership of Máirín Quill and the organising committee for pulling together so much in 1 year to mark this centenary, but also to document, as I've said, but also to reveal it to a newer generation of people. Well done, Máirín, and well done to the committee for understanding. Today, we're opening 2 exhibitions which explore the family's roots in Dachau and 3 generations of the family which have had such a significant impact on our lives. Much can and will be said about how the family integrated into the life of the city. The process of integration was swift. The arts are good builders of bridges. The Fleischmanns were exceptionally gifted. Aloys Sr. was writing hymns when he was 12. Aloys Jr., whose centenary we're celebrating this year, was born in Munich, but his first school, St. Ita's, was an Irish-speaking kindergarten. Indeed, some of his music was composed under the distinctly un-German pseudonym of Micheál. The family's friends, I find this aspect of their life fascinating, included Terence McSwiney, Harry Clark, Daniel Corkery, Sean O'Freilloin, Frank O'Connor, and Sean O'Reilly. It's gratifying to see the impressive list of events marking the Fleischmann Centenary this year, and very encouraging to know that, of course, they're taking place right across Ireland, but also in the United Kingdom, the United States, China, and indeed Germany. Culture is at its best when it is shared, and at its most effective when it includes a level of dialogue and engagement between the people who appreciate it. This is certainly the case with the 113 organisations participating in this year's events. The landscape paintings on view today are a reminder, as we've heard, of the artistic heritage of Fleischmann's native city, Dachau. And in the same spirit of dialogue and engagement, an exhibition of Irish landscape painting will be opened in Dachau in October by Dan Mulhall, our ambassador, the Ireland's ambassador to Germany. A musical exchange is already underway with the visit to Cork in April of Dachau's Liedertafel Choir, and the exchange will continue in the autumn with a return visit to Dachau by the Cork School of Music's Fleischmann Choir, where they will perform Fleischmann's works with the Liedertafel Choir. I'm very honoured to serve as a patron of the Fleischmann Centenary and to declare these exhibitions open. I'm honoured to serve as a patron because a patron can observe. Máirín and the committee has to do all the difficult work. Music and art are international languages, and the Fleischmann legacy is very much that in a multicultural world we can come to a mutual understanding when we share our values and share our cultural heritage. The Fleischmann message is that the best way to make friends and keep them is through our arts and our culture. Thank you very much.
Minister, that was really wonderful. I wouldn't even attempt to say one more word, except to say before we let you all loose to see this wonderful exhibition that you came to see in the first instance. Lord Mayor, I just want to do just one more thing. I told you I'd be brief. One more thing, and that is, I'm asking, there is a book, there are many books, as you said, many publications, but there's a particularly important book that was co-written by Joseph Cunningham and Ruth Fleischmann, and it's mainly about the kind of woman, the woman that ties the generation of Fleischmanns together, the Aloys Senior, the Aloys Junior, and that of course is Tilly Fleischmann. And I'm going to ask now Anne Fleischmann and Ruth Fleischmann to please present copies of that book to the Lord Mayor, to Minister Micheál Martin, to Councilman Christmann. Go and get a book, Mayor. What are you on to? Who else we Elisabeth, of course, Dr. Elisabeth. Oh my. I think we should maybe lodge a book in the German embassy as part of your collection. Would you like that, First Secretary?
You're honoured and delighted.
Thank you very much. So would you please accept one on behalf of the Cork Public Museum?
Thanks very much.
And thank you very much, Dan. And just again, to remind ourselves that this, one more thing.
One more thing.
One more book, one more thing. Is it? Oh, sorry.
May I present you Máirín? Very small
Maybe it was a habit of doing things like that. Just to tell you all that this exhibition, the two exhibitions, will be here until September the 5th. I know the night of an opening is never the best night to view the paintings. The paintings are, I came with a view of paintings at that time, and I went away with a different view when I saw them hang. The paintings are well worth coming and coming again, and bringing our children and our children's children to see them. They're important paintings from the aesthetic point of view. They're pivotal paintings from an understanding, as Minister Micheál Martin has said, of understanding of what can happen what can be made to happen in a community where art is practiced and valued, and where a community can support art, are engaged with the artists. That's the healthiest community you can possibly have. So this is a very, very worthwhile exhibition. I'm proud of Cork Public Museum for making this happen. And just the last thing I'll tell you, Fleischmann will be very pleased about this, and I know you'll be pleased to minister. The Fleischmann Choir is singing as we speak. They're singing in the Albert Hall. They're singing in a major chorus. They're in the Gloria, Liam, tell me. Gloria, or never mind. You all know, everybody knows, but I had one of my many moments when I forget things. But one way or the other, the Fleischmann influence spreads far and wide, and we're celebrating a pivotal part of it here this evening. And I want to tell you, I think you're heroic to come out in such a bad way. But thank you very much anyway. We would have wished it otherwise, but you know, we've no conscience over that. Thank you very much.